Why you should love reading books every day. In today's episode, I'm telling you why you should read every day. And if you stay until the end of the video, you'll leave with a deeper appreciation for the beauty and the benefits of reading, which will help you finish more books and learn more from every book that you pick up. Whether you already read every day or you're just trying to start a daily reading habit, meditating on the benefits of reading every day can enrich your life and follow you everywhere you go. If you harness the powers of reading, you can do almost anything you set your mind to. Reading is humanity's most valuable intellectual tool, and I don't think it's the kind of thing that people should have to pay thousands of dollars to have access to. I'm talking about higher education. That's the project of my channel, to help you become a better reader if you so choose, and a better writer for free. University takes at K through 12 cost. So let's dive into the only show on the internet that is written and produced by two corgis. So stoic. All right, so first up, I can't necessarily speak to the science, but the science is out there. Reading is good, according to scientists. There's evidence that shows that reading slows down the development of Alzheimer's and dementia, but what I'm most interested in for the sake of today's video is framing reading as a mental exercise. Every part of our body needs to be exercised, and the same thing is true for our brains. Reading is difficult for reasons that are analogous to why working out is difficult. It takes focus and perseverance and effort to read a text, especially one that is lengthy and difficult. I used to suggest to my undergraduates at Johns Hopkins that they should spend, or at least try to spend, as much time reading every day as working out. Over time, even 20 minutes of daily cognitive exercise will compound and add up and make a difference. It'll spill over and influence your professional and personal lives alike. And what a reading habit can do for you when it's sustained across time is, to use the words of Abraham Lincoln, books serve to show a man that those original thoughts of his aren't very new after all. So this quote brings me to the second reason why you should love reading every day. Stress management, which does sound kind of basic, but I think it's important that you understand. This is something I talked about in a recent 6-part series I did on reading and escapism. And I'm going to try consolidating those 6 videos into like a minute or 2 right now. So here we go. Life is hard. Life is stressful. We all know this. But here's what you need to remember. Reading requires focus. And because it requires focus, any time that we find a book that we care about, that we're interested in, when we focus on it, we end up escaping into it. It's almost like we forget that we're reading at all. And we are also, as a direct result, shifting our minds away from the stressors of life. And I think that's good, because shifting our focus away from what's bothering us can help give us the perspective we need to implement valuable solutions, or to just identify valuable solutions. And it's especially valuable, especially good, when we consider Lincoln's words, which I shared just a moment ago. When we turn to books, we find familiar parts of ourselves scattered throughout the pages. And for me, that's always been an educational experience that is unrivaled by basically anything else. Reading has taught me and continues to teach me the extent to which I'm always stepping in the footsteps of people who came before me. Number 3 is learning, or knowledge enhancement. Knowledge. So you know what to do with that. Knowledge. That's a deep cut for anybody who is in the know. I'm going to open this part with the words of Malcolm X. My alma mater was books. A good library I could spend the rest of my life reading, just satisfying my curiosity. I stand by this fact. Other than hands-on learning, nothing else comes close to reading. And this builds on the second point I made in today's video. Reading isn't like visual or auditory media. I don't think you can passively engage with a book and still get something from the experience. And I am making a distinction here between reading, say, a physical book or an ebook versus an audiobook. I think it's much easier to passively engage with an audiobook. In order to access the world of a text, one must be fully present, and under the right circumstances, playfully curious. You're either focusing on a text and its message is coming through to you, or you are missing everything. Reading can offer us valuable life experience that we wouldn't be able to find anywhere else. The knowledge you obtain from reading books stays with you, and it follows you regardless of where you go. The memories we carry as a result of the books we read, in many ways the process is similar to memories we have from actual lived experience. So when you pick up a book, pick it up with the idea in mind that your everyday life can be transformed as a direct result of its contents. Thinking that way and having that frame of mind inspires me to read more books, to quench the thirst of my curiosity. It helps inspire me to digest what I'm reading. And I think if you remember this idea, then you can get the most out of every book you give your time to. Number 4 is all about harnessing the power of words. If you can use words effectively, if you can draw on the right arrangement of words when you speak to people, you can make things better for yourself. You can bend the fabric of reality towards some self-benefiting end. As I see it, reading is a great way to familiarize yourself with speech patterns and turns of phrases and really just different ways of thinking and analyzing sets of ideas. I love reading just as much as the next person, but I've always found it valuable to have some technically useful justifications for the things I give my time to throughout the day, which is maybe just like the American worker in me, but my point is simply that reading helps us familiarize ourselves with a given language. And once you understand that, I think you can open yourself up to optimizing the benefits of reading on a consistent basis. And as a side note, I'll say that this is one of the reasons I enjoy reading poetry so much, because I enjoy the musicality of language. And I think it is through the appreciation of a language that we can master our employment of the language. And when you take the time to understand that, I think the act of reading is made easier and more enjoyable. 5 is memory improvement. And what I'll say now is that maybe there's tangible and objective evidence that reading improves a person's memory, or maybe it is exclusively subjective. I feel like there has to be some truth to it, but most of what I'm drawing on for this point is admittedly subjective. Basically, there have been times in my life when I've been reading a lot, and there have been plenty of times in my life where I was not reading so much. And when I don't read as much, I find that I start to live in a kind of fog after a while. Words don't come to me as easily. I kind of get lost in the mud of everyday life. And I think that was due in large part to the fact that I wasn't making time to set aside time to focus on something else, something as fundamental as language. I wasn't setting aside the time to escape into a piece of writing and to fill my head with intentionally organized words. Or maybe it isn't that complicated at all, and I'm just making this up, and this is a narrative I've constructed out of like thin air. But let me know what you think. Do I have it wrong? Do you notice any sort of difference in your daily life depending on whether or not you read? Like I said toward the beginning of today's video, if you are interested in learning how to harness the powers of reading and find the books that are right for you, then I hope you'll check out this playlist, which is full of videos I've made on the subject of reading. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for choosing my video out of all of the other videos. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time.